Hey guys, it's Cyrus of Chaos. I'm here with Despina Georgiadou, and she won the Grand Prix in Orléans last week. She has a pretty interesting backstory behind the result. So I'm gonna let her introduce herself, and then we're gonna talk about it a little bit. So Despina, take it away.
Hi, Andre. Hi to everyone. As you said, Despina Georgiadou. It's not much to tell. And thank you for having me, and thank you for your interest in my story.
Yeah, of course. So as I understand it, you started training in France about 12 weeks ago. Is that right? Because things started getting really bad in Greece with COVID, right?
Yes, I after COVID, after my disease, I visited France for like 2 weeks to train a little bit, to go back into the game, to pass through the phase of the disease and start training again. And then I had my vacations, after the accident, and I returned to France for training about 4 weeks ago.
So what accident are you talking about?
Unfortunately, during my first training here in France back in June, I was trying to open distance when one of my teammates were attacking, and my back leg stepped a little bit in the wrong way. So I turned all the way in, and I dislocated my ankle. I broke the peroné and some ligaments. Yeah, it was an unlucky day.
Yeah. And I know I've seen a lot on your story, you're doing rehab for it. That's really important to be active in the healing process because the body does a great job of healing you, but as elite athletes, we don't, like 90% for us is not good enough. You need it to go back to 100%. So
yeah, yes, that was what I was trying from the first day. After the surgery, I was thinking, okay, I will not let this take me down, and I will do all the process, and I will become even stronger. So from the first day that I could move my leg, it was like every day I was doing the exercises.
Yeah, that's great. And the attitude is so important. You need to understand that it's just temporary and you can't let it get you depressed. I mean, it happened and now you just need to move forward as best you can. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
really,
totally true.
yeah, go ahead.
No, that's totally true. When I first got injured, for the first 2 3 days, I was like, I cannot make it. I will never go back into fencing. And then the fifth day, I say, okay, silence, Despina, just do the process and don't speak. You have the entire summer in front of you. You are lucky because of that, because you don't have any competitions to lose. Just do
Yeah.
the recovery and get back into.
Yeah, as weird as it sounds, like if you're gonna get injured, that's the best time to get injured, right?
Yes, yes. You have to see the positive side of each bad thing.
Yes.
And also for it worked really good for me because it was summer, and I could do the most important part of my recovery into the sea, and it was the greatest part. This was the greatest part. Without this, without the exercises in the sea, this maybe take a little bit more longer.
Interesting. And then once you healed, you came back to France to train again at the Bauer Academy, right?
Yes, yes. I came. Uh, I visited again Orleans and the Christian Bauer Academy like 4 weeks ago, and I will stay a little bit longer to train with the guys. Yes, yes, yes. I am having a great time here. Great time, great training, everything that I could ask for.
Good, that's fantastic. And then the day before you competed at the World Cup, there was a little clerical error, right? And before we say what the error is, I'm going to put the photos on the screen. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can pause the video and take a look and see if you can figure out what the problem is. And
it's a quiz now.
Yeah. So go ahead, tell us what happened.
Okay, so there was a little bit of a weird mistake in the world ranking. I was above, it doesn't matter who she was because this could happen with anyone. I was above Basta, the fencer from Azerbaijan, and I didn't remember that. And the list that came with the exemptions from the pools, Basta was number 16. I was a little bit, confused, but I thought maybe I don't remember correctly. And then I go to the competition as number 17, first for the pools. I fenced the pools, and then somebody from the competitions sent me a message like, "You weren't supposed to fence the pools. Why are you fencing the pools?" And I look again at the ranking, and I see the mistake again. So it was a little bit of confusion. I should be number 16 and Bastard number 17. But it's okay. As they say, everything happens for a reason, and the competition, escalated very good for me. So I don't have any, problem with that. We mentioned the
Yes,
problem, and they have to fix it, because later it can happen with anybody, and
yes,
it will be a little bit unfair.
for sure.
So yeah, that's the
So
story.
for people who don't know, the way that the senior World Cups, Grand Prix, and World Championships work, if you're the top 16 in the tournament, you don't have to fence the pools and you don't have to fence the preliminary DEs. You go straight into the 64, seeded 1 through 16. If you're below that at all, 17, everyone else in the tournament has to fence pools and has to fence preliminary DEs. And only 48 of those people from the rest of the tournament get seeded into the top 64, and they get seeded in as 17 through 64. So being in the
Yes.
top 16, you're automatically here. You don't have to fence pools, and you just go straight to the second day, like perfectly safe with no risk at all. So the fact that you're put from 16 to 17, like in that crazy region, is actually quite a big deal, even though it's just one placement spot. So
Yeah, and the first day of the competitions, anything can happen. And we've seen many
exactly.
times number 17 get staying out of the main tableau for the next day.
Yep.
Many times.
Many times. Yeah.
Yeah.
I I saw one time in in a tournament, I think it was in 2010, where two fencers fenced each other in the top 4 at a World Cup. And then the very next tournament, those two fencers fenced each other in the preliminary 64. So to make
Oh,
the second day, those two both
yeah.
medaled the tournament before, and they had to fence each other to make the second day, the next tournament,
Yeah.
which was nuts. So like you said, it's like the Wild West. Anything can happen. So
Really, really, anything can happen. And we see many times in World Cups or in Grand Prix, like a match that can happen to top 8 or top 16 for any tournament being in happening in the in top
preliminaries.
96 or
Yeah.
before that, even before that. And that's crazy. You see the names, and you think he's out of 64, and
Yeah, like I can't believe it. Um, so tell me about the actual tournament once you started fencing.
okay, it was first day. It was okay. It was I had to get used again that we are all in the competition hall. We It's a little bit different. After COVID, it was the first like normal competition. So
Yeah.
a little bit of stress, more stress even in the second day of the competition, and for I don't know, for no reason. We fenced the pools. Everything was normal in the pools. I made one defeat, 5-4, but I was okay, a little bit lacking with a good score, so I go straight in top 16 of the pools and straight to the second day.
So for people who don't know, in addition to the top 16 being exempt from pools and preliminaries at all, if you finish top 16 out of the pools, you're also exempt from the DEs. So 1 through 16 who are exempt go straight into the second day seeded 1 through 16. And then 1 through 16 out of pools go straight into the second day seeded 17 through 32. So you get to skip the DEs. Not as big of an advantage as being top 16 in the world, but it's still a big advantage. And you went in seeded 27th, I think. So
Yes, that's true. That's true. So I just stayed a little bit to watch and to discuss, the problem that we mentioned before.
Yep.
And then I went back to the hotel for rest and prepare for the next day.
Yeah. And so in the first round of the next day, you fenced Vazanova, right? From Russia in the first round?
Yes, that's true. For me, that was I don't know why I began this day in the most stressful way. I was so stressed in the first bout. I was feeling very stiff, unable to move a little bit. But then, match after match, I was feeling better and better.
Yeah, so the first round you won 15-13, but then you fenced Eliza Stone, who was sixth in the world, and you beat her 15-7. So you must have
Yeah, as I
you must
said,
have loosened up a little bit.
yes, a lot. And as I said, I had an interview before, and they said like, you beat Stone 15-7, and I answered that the score is not. I I don't know the right word. Doesn't show the quality of Eliza. Eliza is very difficult, very strong athlete. Mentally, her game and her strategy is also always very good. And for me, it worked this time, but the score doesn't appeal the quality of Stone. She's a very difficult fencer to, fence with.
Yeah, yeah,
In a,
totally. And then after that, you fenced Choi from South Korea, right?
yeah, it was a test game. She's, Korean women are fast and they have very good control of their, of their mobility. I don't know, of their moves.
Yeah.
And yeah, see, it was a very nice game. It was very nice from her too. It was a tense little bit game.
Awesome. And then after that, Pustai Lisa from Hungary, and she
Yeah.
is third in the world. So,
She's number three.
yep.
Oh, oh,
The
congratulations. Yeah, yeah.
toughest
This
opponent
was
yet.
for me. I know that I also, with my later matches were also difficult, but for me, this was the most difficult match of the competition. In the first part, I was after in the break, I was losing 8-5, I think,
Okay.
but it was very difficult for me to find a solution to her tactic. Uh, I I was getting points, but I wasn't feeling that I could, find a way through her tactic.
Yeah.
But later then we discussed with Chris in the break, and he was like, "Oh, okay, let's try this," and we did it, and step by step, we closed the difference, and then we won the match.
Yeah, that's great. 15-13, so that was real close. And
Yes,
then going into the semifinals, you fenced Svetlana Shevelova from Russia,
yeah,
who I think was seated quite low coming into the tournament, maybe like 45th in the world, but was having a really good day. Um,
yes.
and
She's having a very she's very patient as a fencer. She has a good rhythm in the preparation, and in the center of the piece, she's very strong. And if you are being too impatient, too fast, or you will lose very easily with her.
yeah, she fences so slowly. I think that it is like it's a the timing is a little weird. Like I watched her fence some of the other bouts, and yeah, she just moves so slowly that I think people are a little
Get
surprised by yeah the timing. So
yeah, yes, that's true.
yeah,
She,
so
but
go ahead.
she doesn't give you the impression that she is slow. From inside, you see something slow, but at the same time, it's she provokes many things, like to drop you short, or to like to do preparation attack. If you go too fast, she's slow, and then she do preparation attack, and it's your touch.
That's interesting.
She's a good fencer.
Yeah, yeah. And then I don't know if you're aware of this, but you were actually down, I think 12-9.
8-3. Yeah, 12-9.
And
8-3 and then 12-9. Yeah, I saw it.
and then got 6 touches in a row to win 15-12. So
Yeah, from the moment like when I was so back in the sport, I was trying to figure out her game, and I was trying to figure out a way of like getting the touches. And then I found a way, and I kept doing the same thing, but with different, like first same beginning, but different action after. And I think a little bit I got her confused in the middle. That's why I, go they
she
took
certainly
like
looked a lot. She certainly looked a lot less comfortable in the last couple hits of the bout. So
yeah. He in the beginning she was very strong in the middle, and she was she was winning the attack very easily. Like
mhm.
and then I thought like I have to control a little bit more the center, and once I controlled the center, she wasn't so so
Comfortable.
uh, comfortable with attacking.
Yep.
So I controlled the center, and after that I could play a little bit.
Yeah, that's good, especially because for me the biggest thing in the first part of the bout was she was pulling you short a lot and then landing a lot of her attacks. And
Yeah,
once you took that away from her towards the end of the bout, it became much more difficult for her. So, yeah.
yeah,
And then the last bout, which is the coolest bout, and I want to talk about this the most, is you fenced against your teammate, and
yeah,
actually the only other Greek fencer in the tournament.
yes.
I don't think that's ever happened before, where it's two Greek fencers in the finals of a tournament,
Never.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, never, never. It's pretty rare that a fencer from Greece reach the final. So two fencers from Greece, and the only two fencers in the tournament reach the final and fence together. And fortunately, don't beat each other before top
Yeah.
four or top eight, because we had we 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 have met many times, in the competitions and in tableau like 64, 32, or 16, and it's really unfortunate because we have to stop. Someone has to stop.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, that's really cool. So, what did it mean to you to be fencing a teammate in the final like that? I know you guys are close friends, so
Yeah, uh, you know, when we both got into the final, we go to the backstage area and we start celebrate, just celebrate. And our coaches are like, there is nothing more that we can ask for. Just go out, fence, have fun, because this is not happening. This is the first time that this ever happens. And have fun with your fencing, and we don't care about the result. We will be in the audience watching you, and
yeah,
that's it. Yeah, and
yeah,
that's what we did. We just had fun on um, in the final, and the result didn't matter that much. We just wanted to fence and celebrate after.
that's awesome. Yeah, it was so surreal seeing you guys in the finals, and I know that like after you beat Pustai in the top 8, she came over and gave you a big hug. So
Yes, we did.
it was really cool
It
just
was,
like watching both of you win throughout the day and then like finally meeting in the final. This was really,
yeah.
really cool.
Imagine our first games, both of our first games were so stressed, and then we meet and we say, "What are we doing? Why are we so stressed?" And we say like, "Okay, let's calm down and go first and have fun." That's what we said to each other. Like, have fun uh, with your fencing. Doesn't matter. Of course, it matters the result but at the time that you are fencing, just have fun and do the things that you want to do, and be comfortable with your fencing at least. And that's what we did. And our first big achievement is that we both went to in top four. So we hugged each other. It was the first small celebration, but like being in the final is crazy for us.
Yeah, very, very cool. And in that bout also you were down at the end, 14-12, right?
Yeah, That's true. I remember at
Watch your blade, dude.
for the 13th touch that I see drop short and then I attack. And I remember that
That was
from
the one where
13
she
to
like
14,
she slipped, right?
yes, yes, she do a counter attack and then she sleeps. And I'm like, I don't care. I didn't see any light. I didn't know what happened. I was like, are you okay? Are you okay? And she's like, yes, yes, I'm okay. Okay. And then in the 13th to 14th touch, she she provokes me to to finish my attack, and I finish my attack and I'm thinking, oh, I'm short. And then I remiss a little bit in her hand and I try to just avoid. I remember that I fell back because I was trying to avoid her attack because my first attack was no.
Yep.
It was, and that's
That's
it. And 14-14 is always, like 50-50%.
It's replay automatic, but
yeah, for sure. So you tend to actually have comebacks a lot. Like I remember there was one in Salt Lake City as well, and the 12-9 against Shabelova, and in this one, can you talk about your mentality when you're down at the end of a bout? Because it seems to be very effective.
Uh, I think in Salt Lake City, my mentality was like, I need to, like point by point, touch by touch, I need to find a way to like not get any point. But right now, it was different. I didn't feel like I'm losing. I was when I was losing, I was trying to figure out what the strategy of my opponent was. And then once I figure out this part, I was calm that I can find a way to win it. So I wasn't looking so much of the score, but I was trying to just focus. Of course, when the other one is in ahead of you, you I don't know how to explain this, but yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because when I fence, I try to think of my opponent and what they're doing as like a puzzle to solve, and
Yes.
you can still solve the puzzle really late. Like if you finally start to understand what's happening when you're down like 14-9 or 14-10, you can still win if you
Have
figure it
solved the
out.
puzzle. Yes.
Yes, if you figure it out and you still have like the belief that you can do it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
For that, for a strange reason, for in a strange way, when I was back, I wasn't stressed. Normally, I'm very stressed, but I was calm and I thought that I had to figure out a way to, get the rest of the points.
Hmm. That's good. Is there
Yeah,
anything
it
else
worked
you
this
want to?
time. It doesn't work every time, but it worked this time.
Yeah, of course. I mean, when you're down, there's always a lower chance that you're going to win because especially when
Yes.
especially like for example, when it's 14-8, you have to score 7 touches in a row on someone who's basically been outscoring you 2-1. So,
Okay, first of all, when you are like 14-8, 49, or 14, even 14-11 or 12, if you think that I have to score like 3 points or 7 points or anything, it's no, you're done. Like, okay, 1 point at a time. You
mhm.
cannot get more, of course. And, just focus on your game and not on on the points. Like, okay, it's one action per time. I have to think this action. Okay, this action worked. So let's
What's
see what
next?
I can do next. Okay, so if you have two actions, then you can like have the third part, and once you have like every part, you can evolve the rest of your strategy. You can like do the rest.
That's awesome. Is there anything else you want to say about the tournament or about anything?
No, no, just that I was so excited to finish after almost 2 years of absence because we just had one tournament or one competition in Budapest. It was
Yep.
for me it was half competition in Budapest, and no, yes, and I was excited just to being back again, fans feeling that that passion, that fire that you have on the piste. It I hope that stays for the rest of the season.
Yeah, good. Well, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season too. So, and I'm really, really happy for you. So congratulations again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Of
much.
course. Yeah, it's been great talking to you. Thank you for sharing all of that with me.
Thank you for your interest and everything in my story.
Great.